Stop digging clay soil. Amish secret turns hard dirt into black gold fast. If you've ever tried to push a shovel into clay soil, you already know the struggle. It's heavy when wet, brick hard when dry, and seems determined to fight every plant you put into it. For years, gardeners have been told to double dig, till endlessly, and loosen it up with brute force. But what if the real secret isn't digging more, it's digging less? Here at Rootshaven Grounds, we're all about working with nature, not against it. And today, I'm sharing a soil-building approach inspired by traditional Amish growing methods that can transform stubborn clay into rich, dark, crumbly black gold faster than you might think, and without wrecking your back. Let's get into it. Why digging clay soil makes things worse? It feels logical. Hard soil must need more digging, right? The problem is that clay has a very tight structure. When you dig or till it repeatedly, especially when it's wet, you destroy natural soil aggregates and create compaction layers. Once that clay dries, it sets up like concrete. Every time you aggressively turn clay soil, you also disturb the network of worms, fungi, and microbes that actually build good soil structure. Instead of improving drainage and aeration long-term, you often end up with soil that drains poorly, crusts on top, and becomes even harder to manage season after season. This is where the Amish-inspired method flips everything you've been told upside down. Traditional Amish growers are known for deep respect for the land and low-tech, high-results farming. One of their long-standing soil practices is simple. Feed the soil from the top and let life do the digging. Instead of breaking their backs turning heavy soil, they layer organic matter on the surface and allow earthworms, roots, fungi, and microbes to pull that goodness down naturally. Over time, this creates a rich, dark top layer that gradually improves the clay below. This method is often called sheet composting or top dressing, and it's honestly one of the fastest ways to turn lifeless clay into productive garden soil. Step 1. Stop turning the soil. This is honestly the hardest mental shift for many gardeners. You don't need to double dig. You don't need to flip the soil every season. In fact, the more you disturb clay, the longer it takes to improve. Instead, loosen only the planting holes when you put in transplants. Leave the rest of the bed undisturbed. This protects soil structure and encourages natural channels formed by roots and soil organisms. Think of yourself less as a digger and more as a soil feeder. Step 2. Blanket the soil with organic matter. Here's where the magic begins. Cover your clay soil with a thick layer of organic material. This can include compost, well-rotted manure, chopped leaves, grass clippings, just in thin layers, straw, shredded plant waste, or really a mix of all of them. So, you'll want to aim for a layer that's, several inches thick. Don't mix it in though, just spread it right on top like a blanket. This layer protects the soil surface from baking in the sun, and from being pounded by heavy rain, both of which, honestly, make clay compaction even worse. As this organic layer breaks down, nutrients seep downward, and soil life starts moving in to feed. Step 3. Let worms and roots do the work. Earthworms are nature's tillers, you know? When you feed the surface, you invite worms to come up at night, drag organic matter down, and leave behind these nutrient-rich castings. Their tunnels create air pockets and drainage channels that, honestly, no shovel can replicate. Plant roots also play a huge role. As they grow, they push through tight clay, creating pathways. When they die back, they leave tiny tunnels behind that improve aeration and water movement. Fungi form networks that bind soil particles into stable crumbs. This is how sticky clay slowly transforms into soft, crumbly soil that holds moisture but drains well. You're not just adding compost, you're building an underground workforce. Step 4. Keep the soil covered year-round. Bare clay soil is a problem waiting to happen. Sun bakes it, rain compacts it, weeds move in. The Amish approach keeps soil covered as much as possible. During the growing season, plants themselves act as living mulch. Between crops or in off-seasons, use mulch. Use cover crops. Fast-growing cover crops like beans, peas, or other legumes help break up soil while adding organic matter through their roots. When those plants finish, cut them at the base and leave the roots in the ground. Step 5. Add compost regularly, not all at once. One big compost dump helps, but steady feeding works better. Each season, add another layer of compost or organic mulch on top. Over time, you'll notice the top few inches getting darker and softer. This dark layer is what gardeners call black gold, soil rich in organic matter, full of life, and just perfect for plant roots. As it thickens year after year, it gradually improves the clay beneath by increasing biological activity and encouraging deeper root growth. So, you're building soil from the top down instead of trying to fix everything in one exhausting digging session. Now you might be wondering, what about drainage? Clay soil often holds water for way too long, which can actually drown plant roots. The surface feeding method helps in two big ways. First, when you add organic matter, it improves the soil structure, letting excess water move through much more easily. Second, worm tunnels and root channels act like natural drainage pipes. They really help water flow away from your plant roots, keeping everything healthier. In very wet areas, slightly raised beds can help even more. You don't need deep wooden frames. Even a gentle mound built up with compost and mulch can make a difference, especially for vegetables that hate wet feet. The first season versus long-term results. You'll start seeing improvements in the very first season. The soil surface will be easier to plant into, and you'll notice more worms when you pull back mulch. You know, plants often grow stronger because their roots stay cooler and more evenly moist under the organic blanket. But honestly, the real transformation shows after a couple of seasons. That once gray, sticky clay starts turning darker. It actually crumbles in your hand instead of forming those hard clods. Water soaks in instead of just pooling on top. Roots go deeper and, well, yields really do improve. The key is consistency. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a steady soil-building habit that gets better every year. Common mistakes to avoid. Well, one mistake is adding thick layers of fresh, wet grass clippings all at once. These can really mat down and block air, which isn't great for your soil. So, it's better to mix them with dry materials like leaves or straw, or just apply them in thin layers instead. Another mistake is going back to heavy digging because, progress feels slow. But remember, every time you aggressively disturb clay, you actually set back the soil life that's working for you. Also, you definitely want to avoid leaving soil bare between crops. Even a thin mulch layer is better than exposed clay baking in the sun, honestly. So, this approach doesn't require fancy tools, expensive inputs, or, back-breaking labor. It fits perfectly with the kind of practical, sustainable gardening we love here at Rootshaven Grounds. You just use what you have, build soil naturally, and let biology do the heavy lifting. It's beginner-friendly because it's simple, and honestly, it's powerful enough for experienced gardeners who want healthier soil and, bigger harvests without constant tilling. Most of all, it creates a garden that improves with time instead of wearing you out season after season. Clay soil isn't a curse, it's actually full of nutrients. It just needs structure and life to unlock its potential. By feeding the soil from the top, keeping it covered, and stepping back from constant digging, you can turn that stubborn ground into rich, fertile black gold faster than you ever thought possible. If you found this helpful and want more practical, down-to-earth gardening tips like this, make sure you subscribe to Rootshaven Grounds and share this with a fellow gardener who's still fighting their clay with a shovel. Let's grow smarter, not harder.